Hi, my name is Simon White, and I work for BAE Systems Australia, which are one of the globe's biggest defence contractors. My role, up until recently, has been to manage the discipline that is project controls, and that means supplying the project schedule, cost, and risk position to about 220 projects across Australia, with an order book of about a 1.5 billion Australian, and I have about 100 or so project controls personnel supplying that work. I joined the BBIT course because I liked the basic structure of it. The advertising and the web page that I looked at seemed sensible. I also met some of the personnel from Viago and WiseTech in Orlando, Florida, at the Theory Constraints Conference, and they seemed very capable, very credible, confident, articulate people. And I thought, well, the training package will probably reflect the way that these people conduct themselves. My time is very short. It is very precious to me. I only invest time in things that I think are worthwhile, and the training courses presented looked like it would be a worthwhile investment of my time. When I joined the BBIT course, well, to be honest, I really hoped to be a thinking process guru or superhero by the end of it, able to, solve massive problems with a single leap of mind. And I feel like the courseware does actually help with that. It forces you to think about how you think, and it helps you with the kind of language and tools to help other people think about how they go about the process of thinking and solving problems. So on concerns about joining the course, there were a couple. The course model as presented says that you're to log in each and every morning for over 5 weeks, 5 days a week. And it was leading up to Christmas at a time when I was especially busy as well. So I did have some concern about that basic structure. And I suspect that the reason for that is that's not a conventional training model. It's normal under the organizations that I deal with, that when you do training, you do a big chunk, you're away from the workplace. But I actually found this method of training to be quite refreshing. Just a small, like a bite-sized chunk. You can take a bite and chew on it and think about it and go away and practice it and come back the next day. It does, of course, require a lot of self-motivation to get up every morning and do what you have to do, which is to keep your training on track. I did find that a challenge, and I'm not yet completed. I'm probably on about week 8, and I'm meant to have finished in week 5, so still working through it as we speak. A nice reminder for me that I've actually done a lot of thinking process training already, and it kind of reinforced for me that actually I do have some skills in this space currently, but also there was a lot of hints, tips, little challenges here and there to force you just to think just a little bit differently. So for even someone that's used to trying to think differently, I found some really useful pieces in there as well. Including some real clarity on when injections should be used, why they should be used, how you structure an injection. I also like the Druid loop concept of how do you crack a recurring problem versus the core conflict model, which is how do you crack a one-off problem. And at first glance, they both seemed interchangeable to me, like they're one and the same thing. But when it was explained, actually, there is a different model for solving recurring problems to solving one-offs, and the Druid loop is for one and the core conflict is the other. That was a nice challenge to my thinking and a nice little learning piece as well. So I think that one in itself is probably the biggest single insight for me. The difference between how do you approach solving a problem that is just doesn't seem to go away versus how do you approach solving a problem which, if you just did it once, it would just disappear. And the different ways that you can approach that. Very refreshing and useful. The Black Belt in Thinking training course I've found especially useful, and I can see leaders and managers of other businesses will find this basically useful as well. And the main reason being is that the one thing that we truly need as leaders and managers is how to go about thinking about problems, how to go about solving problems. And this is the one thing that doesn't get taught in traditional schools. They might teach us the nature of problems, cost problems, schedule problems, resource problems, quality problems, but they don't teach us the process of thinking and the process of thinking about your problem and the process of thinking about how to solve your problem. And this is arguably the more senior you are in an organization, the less you should be doing and the more you should be thinking. And it's the one skill that you never get taught. So I think this is a really good introductory toe in the water for anyone that would like to try doing something differently, noting that the thinking that caused the problems that you're experiencing right now cannot possibly be the same thinking that will help solve the problem. You will need to do something differently. And I find that this is a really good introductory model into helping you to do something differently.